How many days had elapsed between that and the distribution of the question papers to these 471 cities and 4,750 centers?
The entire movement pillars I'll prepare a track.
Right?
Starting from the preparation of the question paper.
See, I'll tell you why we are asking.
If
If we come to the conclusion that the time lag between the leak and the actual date of the examination is relatively limited, then that would be a circumstance which would militate against holding a retest.
not
If the time lag between the leak and the actual examination, Brother Mishra actually mentioned,
is wide, then
is wider, then there's a greater chance that the malaise is across the system.
correct. I get it, minutes, I'll get the time.
If it appears that the question papers were leaked on the morning of the 5th, exam was scheduled at 2 o'clock, students were made to memorize the questions, that may be one indicator that the leak was not as widespread.
Not.
Somebody who has a question paper is not going to ask students to sit down and memorize them and give on the spot memorize them. How many answers can a student memorize?
There are two aspects to it.
Therefore, we have to have some clarity on facts for us to understand whether this is so systemic that we must order a retest. See, there are two or three considerations which weigh. One, if the sanctity of the examination has been lost, then a retest has to be ordered, right?
Yeah.
If we are not able to identify students who are candidates who are guilty of wrongdoing, a retest has to be ordered. If you can't distinguish the grain from the chaff, that is the tainted from the untainted, a retest has to be ordered.
Your Lordship judgment.
On the other hand, right. On the other hand, we are dealing with now a situation of 23 lakh students. It may be far-fetched for us to at least presume, unless they point out material to us, that all 23 lakh students or a substantial number of them are involved in the fraud. For what we know, a large number of students may be just honest students who have appeared for the exam.
Large number are honest. Large number.
Therefore, we have to see if, second, what was the modality? One more very important aspect.
Yes, sir.
What was the modality in which the leak was detected? If the leak took place, if the modality of the leak is through electronic means, social media, then there is a possibility that the leak is extremely wide.
My Lord, that is the point. What your Lordship said is all correct.
Just 1 second.
They leak past the electronic media.
Matthew, one second.
Answer this.
We are flagging these issues. We want you to therefore give us a comprehensive analysis of dates.
Certainly.
Because if the leak is taking place through, say, Telegram, if it is taken through WhatsApp,
That happened.
because if it's through social media or any electronic means of communication, then it spreads like wildfire.
Yes.
On the other hand, we must also balance it out about the time at which the leak takes place. If it's more or less in the morning of the 5th, then the time between when the leak takes place and the students have to go for the examination is very limited.
On the time.
This is a hard decision, but there is no choice.
One more thing in which we require some assistance from both sides. Please don't treat it as an adversarial litigation. For the reason that whatever view we ultimately take, this view is impacting the lives of 23 lakh students. Second, we want to understand, is it possible for the court to identify red flags? Right? So, can we identify, either we do it or we appoint an expert committee to identify the red flags? I'll give you some examples of red flags. 720 out of 720. All right, everybody out of who gets 720 is not a fraudster. There may be still people who are extraordinarily bright at 720 out of 720. But we found that for the previous years, the proportion was very low. Now, this year suddenly it goes up to 67. How many out of those 720 are people from that 1563 who are beneficiaries of the added grace mark?
We have given the details in our counter affidavit.
Good. No, this is, I have to read this. Give me 2 minutes, give me 2 minutes.
Submission something.
Just some figures which are handy. And that might answer, I'm obliged to your Lordship's question. It's a very pertinent question. We examine the pattern of 100 top ranking students, those who were in the first 100. But the analysis comes that they were distributed amongst 95 centers in 56 cities in 18 states or union territories. Top 100.
The top 100.
They are not found, they appeared in 95 centers located in 56 cities, which are spread out in 18 states or union territories.
He is interested.
And my lord,
Just one second. Now,
Page 86 of my reply, page 37 is the
now
evidence. And
one more thing which we want to know now is that how many FIRs matter has been handed over to CBI for investigation?
I'll just tell you.
Totally, how many FIRs have been registered?
One FIR was paper leak in Patna. The rest, my lord, are FIRs for some local malpractice, my lord.
How many totally FIRs have been registered?
My lord, according to them, 6, my lord. Our knowledge is not 6, my lord.
Can you give us tomorrow, maybe?
My lord, day after, my lord, day more, my lord. But we'll be able to.
I have a rough.
Just one second. All right.
I may tell you.
Second, we want to know, now, one thing is very clear, that the leak has taken place.
In the, yes, in one center,
No, whether one center, that's what we have to
we
decide.
will have to.
The fact that the sanctity of the examination
Compromise.
is now compromised is beyond doubt.
Correct.
That there has been a leak.
Yes, yes.
I'm sorry, my lord.
Now, question is, Mr. Solicitor, how widespread is that breach?
Patna also, my lord, the paper leak is not an admitted fact. But my learned friend relied upon that press, not kind of a thing.
No, it is an admitted fact. It's later in the affidavit.
Mr. Adumbara, one second.
Yes, yes.
But can we deny the fact that a leak of question
Show that.
papers?
Yes, my lord. Yes, my lord. Yes, my lord. My lord, the
The complete cover of it is admitted in the
Bihar
FIR.
police, Bihar police, on that very day on which, my lord, some news reporting came, which my learned friend, my lord, Mr. Huda read. My lord, we issued this press, sir, that this is false. This is not our briefing to the media.
No, but it's the case of NTA today that there is no leak.
It's there. It's not.
Leak is admitted.
The fact
It is
that-
admitted in the complete affidavit.
Mr. Solicitor, Mr. Kaushik, we take it that it's an admitted fact that there is a leak.
Yes.
There is no question about it. But, the nature of the leak is what we are determining.
Not.
Yes,
Therefore, we are asking question. The fact that there was a leakage of question papers is cannot be disputed. Now, what is the consequence of that leak would depend upon the extensive nature of that leak. If it
Was
is
it a
not
contained leak or uncontained?
I'll tell you one thing. You don't cancel a whole examination merely because two students have committed a malpractice. Likewise, assuming that there is a leak, we don't live in an ideal world. There should be no leak. But before we decide to order a leak, a retest, we must be careful about what is the nature of that leak, because we are conscious of the fact that we are dealing with the careers of 23 lakhs.
It's absolutely right. Absolutely right.
Page 108 of
And
the.
asking 23 lakh students to reappear for an examination, together with the preparation, cost, travel, and dislocation of admission schedules,
Unfortunately, there is no other choice.
I'll also take.
Unfortunately, there is no other choice. Paper has been leaked.
Mr. Nandumpara.
Now, therefore, we want to know this. Therefore, we would like to know first the entire process which takes place.
Said.
Two, what is the nature of the FIRs which have come forth? How was the leak? What is the point of time at which the leak took place? How was the leak disseminated? These are important questions, okay? And next, very important, what are the actions which the Government of India and NTA have taken to identify the wrongdoing students or the beneficiaries of the wrongdoing?
Correct.
None.
But now, an example.
I
An example.
I appear for someone who has come first.
I'd like to make I'd like to make submission.
Sir, I had.
I'm in 31.9, my lord.
So we have understood your lordship's question. No, they are very pertinent question and that would ultimately lead. But I'll just give an example.
Your lordship, sir, is perhaps
Mr.
not
Mr. One
against
second.
the court.
One second, Mr. Solicitor, we also want to know what are the steps which have been taken by the NTA and by the government to identify the beneficiaries of the leaks? Because that we have to be ruthless on identifying the beneficiaries.
We also have to be ruthless.
Right? Because anybody who has breached the examination is not entitled to be there as a successful student.
Those who are identified, their results are. But give me an example.
How many, we want to know
I'll give.
how many have been identified.
Yes, yes.
But more than how many have been identified, we want to know what was the course of action which was taken by the government.
Lord, kindly allow me to give an example. Lord, for the time being, leave Bihar. I'll not call the police also. I'll not take instructions. Take for example, Godhra. Godhra incident, my lord, it passes on as a paper leak case. It's not a paper leak case. What happened was, there was one superintendent of one particular center called Jalaram School. His name is Tushar Mehata. Lord, he arranged with certain students that he didn't have the paper. But he said that whatever answers you can confidently answer, you give the answers. These are multiple choice questions with negative marking. And therefore, I would have a window of 3 hours before, after I take your papers back and I seal it and send it to the concerned authority. Fortunately, the authorities, the district magistrate came to know about this. Followed, it must have percolated from somewhere. Therefore, the moment examination started, the entire district administration and entire police administration was there. The papers after the examination were taken in their custody, sealed in their presence and sent, and that man was arrested. Now, from his mobile, there were several video chats which were found. And we could identify that these were the people with whom he was in touch. So those identified students, their papers are, their results are with him.